You've woken up from a dream before. Maybe your heart was racing, and the dream details were still fresh. You were just in a city you've never visited, but somehow you knew your way around. You saw a person you've never met in your awake life. But the bond felt older than this, the ones you have in your awake life. You tell yourself, as most of the people do, that it was just imagination. But what if it wasn't? The idea that dreams are only stories made up by the brain is still just a theory. It's convenient, safe, but it doesn't explain why some dreams leave emotional imprints, or why certain images follow you for years. What if your dreams aren't random at all, but remembered pieces of something you've already lived? In this video, we're going to break down the possibility that your dreams are actually memories, not metaphors, not fantasies, but pieces of your soul's history that resurface when your conscious mind lets go. 1. You dream of places you've never been because you already were there. You might have walked through streets in your sleep that you've never seen in real life, and yet somehow you knew where to turn, which doors would open, what the air felt like. It wasn't a story. It was familiarity without context. These kinds of dreams are often dismissed as random imagery, but psychologists and researchers have documented thousands of cases where people describe vivid locations they couldn't have imagined. The lighting, the architecture, the layout, too detailed, too consistent across nights. It behaves less like fiction and more like memory. If time isn't as linear as we think, and memory isn't limited to this life, then it makes sense. You weren't creating a new place in your dream, you were revisiting one. The only thing missing is your ability to place it. 2. Some nightmares aren't fears, they're fragments of past pain. Certain dreams don't scare you in the usual way. They leave a weight in your chest, a tremor in your hands, or a lingering grief you can't name. You wake up shaken, not by what happened in the dream, but by how deeply it reached inside you. These aren't surface-level fears or passing bad thoughts. They feel ancient, like echoes from something you were never taught, but somehow still carry. The emotional intensity doesn't always come from imagination. In many cases, what rises during sleep is pain stored in parts of you that words never reached. Not everything you remember started in this lifetime. Some reactions are triggered by symbols your current self doesn't recognize, but your inner self knows all too well. They don't follow a story you can explain. They bypass that completely and go straight to the body. What we call nightmares may often be unresolved memories surfacing from another time. The screaming, the running, the fear. They aren't always warnings. They can be replays, fragments of something that still needs to be felt fully before it can stop repeating. And until it's seen clearly, your dreams will keep bringing it back, not to punish you, but to release it. 3. Deja vu happens because the dream came first. There's a strange moment that hits you without warning. You're somewhere new, but it doesn't feel new at all. You know what's around the corner, what someone's about to say, how the room is lit, even before it unfolds. It's subtle but unmistakable. Most people call it deja vu and move on. But what if it's not about the present repeating? What if it's about the dream that came before it? Often, long before those moments of recognition happen in waking life, they appear in sleep, unnoticed, unrecorded, but real. You had the conversation already. You walked through that door already. It came to you at a time when your conscious mind was too still to resist it, and then it faded. Not gone, just buried, until life replays it with perfect timing. This doesn't mean you're predicting the future. It suggests you accessed it early. In a dream state where awareness isn't constrained by time, you may come into contact with scenes or sequences before your body does. When they finally occur, the sensation isn't newness, it's alignment. Not because you're seeing it for the first time, but because your mind is catching up to what your soul already filed away. 4. Familiar strangers in dreams are echoes of past connections. Sometimes in dreams, you meet someone you've never met and feel something instant, a bond, a loss, a joy. The emotion is real, but it doesn't match anything in this life. And that's the point. These strangers aren't always products of imagination. They're often people you've shared lifetimes with before. The feeling is so strong, not because it's new, but because it's remembered. The connection doesn't begin in the dream. It resurfaces there. Some relationships don't fit into the timeline of this life. That doesn't make them fictional. It makes them forgotten, until sleep gives them a brief chance to return. 5. The dream realm isn't fiction, it's storage. When you sleep, your brain isn't just sorting memories from today, it's scanning through layers that aren't accessible while awake. Think of it less like imagination and more like storage. Some of it recent, some of it ancient, some of it not supposed to be opened during the day. What you call a dream might be your system accessing a database, one too large, too strange, or too destabilizing for waking recall. These aren't metaphors. They're fragments of data held in forms your mind can process without breaking. And because your waking consciousness can't hold it all, only pieces make it through. Visual symbols, brief moments, strange emotional combinations. Not nonsense, not fiction, just incomplete memory from an older layer. 6. Recurring dreams are broken loops, clues you were supposed to decode. A recurring dream doesn't repeat for entertainment. It repeats because something didn't register. It's a glitch, but not in your brain, in your awareness. Something was missed, dismissed, or not understood the first time. These loops often carry hidden messages, a detail that's always there, a moment that never changes, a task you never complete. That repetition is a signal. It's memory trying to resolve, or at least be seen. When you start noticing the pattern instead of reacting to it, things begin to shift. Because it's not just about what's happening in the dream, it's about why it keeps happening and what it's trying to bring back to the surface. 7. Your mind can't create what it's never touched. Imagination has limits. Your brain can blend and remix what it already knows, but it can't fabricate something it's never encountered. So when you dream of technologies, languages, or beings you've never seen before, the question isn't, what am I inventing? It's, where did I see this? The structure of your dreams often includes things that are too detailed, too cohesive to be made up from scratch. Specific visual layouts, textures, voices, these aren't abstract, they're retrieved. But from where? If you accept that you've lived before or that your consciousness has accessed other layers, then these scenes aren't inventions. They're memories from a part of you that remembers more than your brain ever could. 8. Lucid dreams are glitches, moments you regain access to the truth. In a lucid dream, you realize you're dreaming, and for a moment you take control. But what if that moment isn't about gaining power, but regaining memory? What if the awareness you feel isn't a trick, but a return? Many people report that in lucid dreams, they not only control their actions, they feel free, like something important was remembered, and then forgotten again upon waking. That's not just brain chemistry, that's a doorway you weren't supposed to find. Lucidity might not be an upgrade, it might be a glimpse of something you used to know, of a part of you that never sleeps, of a version of your awareness that didn't forget where it came from. 9. You wake up forgetting because you were forced to. There's a reason most people forget their dreams within seconds. The brain is wired to keep dream content suppressed unless it's immediately recorded or processed. But what if it's more than just forgetfulness? Some theories suggest there are protective mechanisms, not just biological but existential. If you remembered everything you experienced in other states of consciousness, it could destabilize your identity. You weren't designed to hold it all at once. The forgetting isn't random, it's built in, because not everything your soul knows is meant for conscious recall. Some things are better stored until you're ready to carry the weight of knowing them again. 10. Dreams that feel too real usually are. Every now and then you'll wake up from a dream that leaves you quiet. Not because it was dramatic, but because it felt truer than what you woke up into. The textures, the faces, the emotion. It wasn't fantasy, it was real, just not here. That kind of realism doesn't come from imagination. It comes from memory. Not from this life, perhaps not even from this dimension, but from something your deeper self has already lived. When your body sleeps, your soul doesn't pretend. It recalls. And sometimes when the barrier slips just enough, you get a piece of that truth. Just long enough to feel it. Just short enough to question it. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.